opportunities. Here we offer you, we gon' show you what you play. The content, it never stays, but positive and uplifting. Once a week, the scope gifted. Let's hear it through faith, hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a date, we always here for you. Mediascope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Mediascope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, don't make them yours. What we run is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you go on the Brandon with no award toys. This culture meets the art, podcast with the heart. And essence of the growth, the thousand.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the livest media, tech, pop culture show in the land. You got to do spirit fingers for that. This is Mediascope, making sure that my mic is on because this would have all been for naught if not. All things media, tech, and pop culture. And I'm super excited today. But first, let's get into who I am. My name is Tachi, media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist every year. And guess what? I discovered that I forgot all about the 9th anniversary of Mediascope. That's what happens when you're trying to run 10 million different enterprises at the same time. It was July 29th, made 9 years. So usually we do some sort of celebration stream. I forgot completely, but you know, we'll make up for it at some point. So that's me. In case you've never been here before, I welcome you into the fold. And guess what? We are, if you are watching on YouTube, and I'll get to the YouTube people in just a moment, why not like and subscribe? I mean, you're already there. The next step is just to like and subscribe and tell all your friends. Tell all your friends. That's what I went to get my nails done one time back in the day. And the nail person gave me a discount that said, tell all your friends. And so I want you to tell all your friends about Mediascope because we have a lot of fun here. And I know that I got to acknowledge some folks on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and the like. So hold tight. I'm coming. And so these are the deets. We are on all these wonderful platforms every Wednesday, 6 p.m., Thursdays at 2 p.m. on Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the rest of the Caribbean. I wish you a multitude of blessings, and all of us wish you blessings. It is a blessing to be on Gospel 107 with all of my shenanigans. I say once again, thank you. I must have favor somewhere on such a wonderful station with my foolishness. But thank you anyway. I hope you all enjoy. So let me say hello to everybody on the tubing of the U or YouTube. Welcome. If you're watching on Bookface and you know who you are, thank you so much for being here. And by the way, those are both the Indie Soup Media channels and my personal channels. Thank you. If you happen to be watching on Twitch, what's going on, Twitch? What it do, Twitch? And of course, the IG family, the IG massive of the Mediascope massive. Welcome. Well, you know, before we have a guest today. What have I done to please the social media gods that I am blessed with another guest? Must have done something right. So we are going to say hello to, let's take a look at what's happening in the, oh, you know what? And I think I'm freezing too. I see that. So I'm going to have to, close some windows. You see, I tried it. Anyway, so DiCarpio is here and says hello to DS, which means DS is here. Hello, DS. Says congrats on 9 years. Wow. Next month, I celebrate my first year. Wow. And DS has a wonderful YouTube channel. Please follow him. He is chef extraordinaire. The man can cook. And I'm still waiting for my pizza and all the things. Still waiting, sir. But anyway, congrats to you, DS. Fantastic. He says he's the baby here. You know what? But that's great because we have the opportunity then to teach you what we know. So this is for any of you. If you have a question about live streaming or video, you know, I do a whole video series, but feel free to drop me a DM if you have a question about something. You know, I'm always open to answer. And Kimmy Kim, I always say it backwards. It's Kimmy, like Simma. Who got the keys to my beamer? Anyway, who am I? So thank you so much for being here. Hello, Kimmy. Hannah Boyd Miller has also joined us. Hello. How are you, my dear? It is good to have you, as has Shelly Shells. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Toomer Dr. Tarla Toomer, who is actually a South Floridian, and she's local. Hello, my dear. Good to see you, and I welcome all of you. Now, let's see what's happening over on the Instagram side. Betty is here. That B, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. Hello, hello. B Sam Co is here. How are you? Trish has also joined. Hello, Trish, all the way from the West Coast. It is good to see you. Bryson, Mr. Pop Culture himself, says, what's up, everybody? How are you, Bryson? One nice girl who was gallivanting about in Bali. I think you were in Bali, so she must be back now. Welcome back, and I hope you had a great time on your vacation. Cadillac, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Just Chris is here. Good to see you. Shelly Davis, did I say, or Shelly? Shelly? I think it is Shelly. Hello, Shelly Davis. How are you? Welcome. And Eyes on Me, LLC is here. You know, I always have to welcome and greet people. It's not a Mediascope if I don't do that. So again, we have a guest. So I'm going to bring her on in just a few, but you know the house rules. If you have a question, ask. But in addition to that, so she's actually acting as my guest co-host today because I've got some stories. We've got some stories to talk about. So we're going to do that. But first, let's put up a little bit of an intro for her, and then she'll be on in just a few. My dear G.
Hello.
How are you?
Man, I was back here like jamming and dancing and laughing and stuff. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Listen, I mean, all of that, that's how you have 10 million shows, which we'll talk about. So you understand how to make guests comfortable. And to be honest, I really don't have to do anything to make you comfortable because you're already so fabulous.
Thank you, ma'am. I stay ready, right? I stay ready, so I have to get ready.
Yes. That's right. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Lessons from G via Mediascope. Well, so we are going to, like I said, guys, we have a hybrid show because G is going to be my guest co-host today. So we're going to talk about some stories, but we're also going to talk about her story. And I'd like to start with her story. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and tell us who you are and what you're about?
Ooh, okay. So my name is Gwendolyn.
Yes.
Gwendolyn G. Our Houston Jack. So it's either going to be Gwendolyn or it's going to be G. Just keeps it easy. And in terms of like who I am, God, that's a hard question sometimes. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it is. So when I think about who I am, I focus on my purpose. And my purpose is very simple, right? I'm about community, people being included, creating safe spaces, about authenticity, inner peace, well-being. I do all of that through a number of vehicles, primarily photography and my video podcast and my coaching. So that's how I do all the things. But I am a Virgo, so super high achiever, keeps all the receipts, has 5,000 things going on. So yeah, that sums it up, Dr. Tachi. That is it. That's my bio. That's the bio.
And see, this is the thing. She's 100% right about the organization and all of that because I have to make sure I'm on my game. Full disclosure, she is one of the creators on the platform, on my platform, Indie Soup Media, or I should say our platform, Indie Soup Media. But she's always together. She always has her stuff. There's always a detailed description. I'm very proud of you, my dear. You are the prototype for what one should do. So thank you so much. Wow. All right. So let's talk a little bit more. So let's talk about photography. So today, folks, we're going to talk about a few things, and please feel free to ask questions. We're going to talk about photography. We're going to talk about video and how she uses video plus social media. And she's got a new venture that we will talk about as well. She's all things media. I call myself all things media, tech, and pop culture. It's her. So, after a while, I get lazy and I go home. She keeps going. So tell us a little bit about your photography and the types of photography you do.
Well, I just celebrated my 12th year.
Stop it.
September 7th. That
12th
was
year as a
year,
photographer?
yeah, 12 years as a photographer. It started because I was underemployed
Okay.
and had to make those magical ends meet. And so, trying to work two part-time jobs, it's impossible. It really is impossible. So we started taking pictures, which I will tell you now, I don't take pictures. All right. That's not what Gwendolyn does. But it started that way. And as I have grown into my crafts, I focus on families, primarily the seniors, the babies. Okay, let me not say the babies because that's not right. The toddlers, and then as they get older, and then we also do individual portraits and headshots. And if I had to define my style, I really like something that's fashion editorial, if you will. So if you are looking for the white button-down shirt with jeans, that is a no. If you're looking for the plaid holiday, it's a no, because I forget this has to go on the gospel channel. It's a no. So I like to do something more creative and out of the box and really sort of push the edge. And most of my customers, let me think, no, the majority, when they write a review or they talk about their images, it's not about the images. It's always about the experience. This is an experience. So if you're not one for high energy and guttural laughter, then Gwendolyn is not your person, because we are going to laugh and we are going to get into some things. That's how we do.
Like guttural laughter here.
Yeah.
Okay? We like to laugh. So, but let's go back even further. But before I do that, I do want to say some hi to some people who've joined us on Instagram. Miss Elise is here. Hello, Miss Elise. Good to see you. Calc Smooth, who is also from the West Coast, has also joined us. B Pearl is here. Hello, B Pearl. She says hello. Is it Opie Dwan? That is an awesome name. Thank you for being here. Jesus Black Man, one of my faves, is here as well. Handmade Body Butters has joined us on the Instagram side, as has LaShandra Tinsley, and she says, hey, Doc, it is good to see you. I am Tammy Lewis has also joined, as has Colleen, and Bryson is getting ready for the VMAs. He dropped some pop culture knowledge in the chat. So I always feel like I need to acknowledge that. And Cadillac says I'm glowing. Thank you. It's the natural glow of the heat in South Florida. So thank you. Although, let me stop lying. Even when I lived in Buffalo, I was greasy. So, it is during the winter at that. So welcome all. Thank you so much. And Miss Elise says hello to you, Black Power Bunny. Also known
hello, Miss Elise. I love Miss Elise.
She's wonderful, isn't she?
Oh, man.
And knows her stuff. I love a good know their stuff person. Right. If nothing else, right?
Yes.
So I want to take it back, way back. Not way back.
Okay.
You talked about you were underemployed.
Yes.
What were you underemployed doing? Well, yeah, what were you underemployed? First of all, before you were underemployed, you were employed, right? What made you or no?
Okay, Dr.
Or have you always been underemployed? Or
you should have told me, because I could have had a cocktail for this conversation.
You know what? And I started to tell you I like to do the brunch and sip thing on here. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but this is real talk. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So right. I was living in New York City, loved it, Wash Heights, and met a guy. Yes, Wash Heights, 181st. Met a guy, thought I wanted to marry that guy, came back to Texas during a financial crisis, but love does not put food on the table. So got here, was ghosted, and ended up homeless. Didn't have a job per se. We were still looking for something. And so the place I was working found a part-time job. And so we went from, doing some really great things to pretty much starting over again. And that was in September 2009. And I remember couch surfing really trying to find a place here, trying to find a place there. Call my mom a couple of times. Like, I need a place to sleep tonight. Do you know anybody here so I can sleep someplace? And eventually my best friend lives in Arlington. And she said, oh, I have an extra room. And I slept on her sofa for about 4 years because I did not want to wrap my arms around that current situation. The idea of buying furniture and getting settled meant for me that I was not going to get out of the hole that I was in. So we had to start over. And I thought to myself, how did I get here? Because I'm a pretty smart chick. Okay, stop. I'm a highly intelligent chick. I was like, how did I get here? Right? Like, you have the rainy day fund, which does not last 6 months. It doesn't last. And you just had this whole idea of forcing things that weren't supposed to happen. Right? And it was not, and I don't, I always see a silver lining in some of these storms that we put ourselves into, because these were conscious decisions. And I thought, okay, Gwendolyn, how do we get back to where we were? It took some time, but we eventually got there. And if it had not been for that, I'm not so sure I would have started the photography business. I'm not so sure I would have gotten there. But that is how we were underemployed, because you leave a full-time job and you start over and you have to work your way back. And that takes time, which we eventually did. We eventually did it. But when I say it was serious, man woke up one day, New York State said, I'm going to take your last $100 because you owe us that. And I thought, it's just $100.
Listen,
but
I know about New York State.
I know, right? But these are the lessons that we learn. And I would be a liar if I said that I was not traumatized from that. Right? Because when I got married, I kept my apartment key, because my brother took over my lease, but I kept it for I think 9 months.
Really? Now, why? Why? Was it the fear that you would end up in the same situation? Okay.
Yes, it was. It was like, I don't ever want to be in a position where my livelihood, my sanctity of home is in somebody else's hands. I don't ever want to go there. So it took a little bit, and he was fully aware of it. He's like, I know you still have your key. Take your time. But this is not going to end. Like, this is solid. But we go through things, and we don't feel or notice our trauma until we watch our behaviors. And it was clear that I was still like, And here's the deal. Like, I love my husband. It'll be 7 years on the 24th of September. But I was thinking, I had an apartment where I had a 10-minute drive, never got on the highway. I could roll out of bed and still get to work on time. And I thought, I now have a commute. This love thing better work out, because it was a great spot. I mean, it was a beautiful spot, right? Like, who doesn't love that work commute? And I thought, okay, but it's clearly it's going well. The love thing is working out. And I do love my husband. Clearly.
It's been 7 years. Otherwise, you're faking the funk really well.
Right.
But clearly, it's been working out.
Yes.
Let's take some questions. DS is my favorite question asker. It's not a word, but I made it one. So he has some questions for you. But first, let me hop on over to Instagram. Fantastic Record and Film Works. Tone, welcome. Good to see you. Camellia Flanagan is also here. And LaShondra Tinsley says, congratulations to you. Yeah. And that was a good question. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm doing something. Right. DJ SK is also here. Hello, DJ SK. It is so good to see you. And from the West Coast, our boots on the ground for the acting scene in California. Actually, our boots on the ground. That would be D-Tuggle himself.
Yes.
D-Tuggle, what's up? How are you? Also, look who's here. 1/4 of the Gentleman's Corner. Paul G is here. Hey. What's up, Paul? Good to see you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And then, so let's hop on over, because I know that our good friend DS has some questions. First of all, I think you know good and well that it's pronounced Houston in Texas and Houston in New York.
If you're from the north, we know it's Houston, but we're from the south, so it's really Houston. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. And he said he loves your smile. Yeah.
Thank you.
Your smile is infectious. It really is. It really is. Also, What photographer inspired you to get into photography?
Oh, you know what? It wasn't a photographer that inspired me. My parents did it. My parents bought me a Pixie 110 camera. It's pink. I still have it because I'm a memory hoarder. But they bought it as a holiday gift, and I still have the original pictures and the film. Yes, I am that person.
Wow.
And that's where it
Wow.
started. And then I kind of like, my father always had all of these tech things, VHS, satellite dishes, camcorders, LPs. Like he did all the things, and he had a thing for cameras. And I remember carrying his Minolta like from junior high through high school. And then he got his Sony camcorder, and I carried that through high school, through college. And so it was my parents who got me into it. And then I kind of put it down for a little bit because it was more of a, I'm going to say, because I wrote in college and I also did like writing in high school, the newspaper and then the newsletter online. I would take my photo to go with my article. So it's more of a technical thing. But then I lost my creative writing somewhere and I picked it up in the camera. Now, the ones who inspire me after I got into it, Gordon Parks.
Yes.
Richard Avedon. Oh my God. Okay, so I couldn't afford Versace, but Prince did this campaign with Versace with Richard Avedon as the photographer. I set up all my coins to buy that catalog just to get the pictures because I love how he captures people. It is a very simple background. It's not ornate and all these bells and whistles. So he was part of my like fashion inspired look for portraits. I don't want to do all the things. Sometimes I do, but I primarily just want the person and the background and their personality to show. But those are people who got me into it after. People I look at now who inspire me. I love John Gress. I love his lighting. Audrey Willard. I love her lighting. See anybody else who really? Alan Cooley has some great stuff. Like there's some great modern day photographers as well. But if I had to put down the two who got me, Gordon and Richard. And I had a chance to visit the Richard Avedon Foundation in New York. You have to make a request, but they will let you in. Oh, the work, the storage of images upon images upon images. Seeing his camera, I was like, oh my God. It's something for photographers, right? So yeah, those are my two. That's a great question. It's a great question. It's good.
Absolutely. No, this audience is sharp now. This audience is sharp. Let's see. Hey, well-known unknown. It is good to see you. He pops in and he's in the UK. So thank you so much for being here because it's late in the UK right now. Let's see. Derek Tuggle has also joined us over here on the YouTube side. YouTube really is an experience, folks. So if you want a good experience, because you can watch us on a big screen using YouTube. So if you want the experience, join us over here on YouTube. I would say that. But you're fine where you are. But if you want the experience, join us on YouTube. Fantastic. Let's see. So Food Plane says, art is art. However, with AI and Photoshop, what are your thoughts on photos today being over-edited where it loses its true essence? Come on with the question.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I
should have brought my tequila because y'all doing it tonight. Y'all doing it. Okay.
Let's talk.
So I am not the person who wants to tell somebody what art is. Like that's because, I use my digital camera. I have my film camera. Right. I love my Rolleicord, my 35 millimeter from Canon. I love my film. I love my digital. I believe all of it is art. Do I think there is? No, I'm not going to say thing. Do I believe there is a place to over edit? Yes. But everybody has their own voice. I am not heavy on editing. I am the photographer who wants to do 80% in the camera. 80%. 80. So I can get what I got to get and call it a day. Like I'm not the 3 hour, 5 hour person who wants to edit. I don't do the multiple layers. I mean, okay, I do some layers in Photoshop, but I'm not like layers upon layers upon layers upon and throw this in and create. That's not my voice. But I don't judge people for going down that path because
Okay.
that's how they see their art and that's their voice and they have every right to throw it out there. But I prefer something on the more natural side, but that's my preference, right? It's like cars. It's like food. Somebody is a vegan. God bless them. I'm gonna eat some beef. I'm gonna eat some beef. I'm gonna have a little bit of pig and some chicken. Like I'm doing all of that. So I'm staying my plate and I'm gonna let people have whatever that is. So yes, but I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. But you know what? Here's a second thought to that. The people who really look at AI and the amount of processing are the creatives. Your average consumer, and God bless me for saying this, most folks have no idea what a really good photo or a really good portrait or image looks like. They don't. They have a place of, well, it's good enough, right? And they have these cell phones, and I love the cell phones. Like our phones do really great work, and that tool, this machine, does a lot of that work for them. And so, as far as they're concerned, hey, that's great. And then they come to a professional, like, wait, you want what for what? It's like, you don't understand. This is science here, right? This is math and science, all the things working together. This is real creativity work here. We're not just pushing a button. There's a lot of thought that goes into creating a really great portrait, which is why some of us as professionals don't do a lot of over editing, but everybody has their something. And I believe there is space for every single creative to express themselves and put it out in the world and have somebody enjoy it. I love that. Man, I should have. I didn't bring it. I don't know if I brought the touch. I don't know if I can do this.
You can. I have faith in you. We have faith in you. And the interesting thing is, I don't know if you were talking about it in terms of money, that people want this for this, maybe more so in terms of art, but it's
both, because like people see, and I do not blame our technology for how the average consumer sees images and photography, right? It's access. It's the same way that when people see these elaborate cakes, they believe, well, isn't that just like a box cake and a couple? It's like, no, it is not. There's geometry and a whole bunch of other stuff to like create this cake that looks like a geode or something. That's not just right. So we kind of dumb down things because we believe, well, it can't be that hard. Yes, it's very hard. Right.
Yeah.
And time is money. So and on both of those, people say, well, it's just this.
Yeah.
So it should just be a couple of dollars. If it's just, then you should do it yourself.
Thank you. Let me sit in my seat properly. I think the problem with this is that what has happened is that society puts greater importance on certain fields and lesser importance on others. So you're taught that anything that is an art or anything that is a, quote, social science is not as important as technology, as, quote, the hard sciences. And they keep in fact, it's interesting because I've got to do a be more on it. I saw when they were talking about, it was something, it was interesting because it was some Instagram account that did a reel about the GPAs needed to get into the D9 or the Divine Nine organizations. So first of all, you can't sum that up in a reel, but okay, they tried to do it.
They tried.
And then they tried it. So there was all sorts of back and forth about things. And then somebody had the I'll say the black audacity to open their mouths and say, well, you can't say that a communication degree is the same thing or the coursework is the same thing as electrical engineering. You may take all your cards and go make soup, stone soup. You're trying to tell me, and this is why people in tech fields there are issues with communicating.
Yes.
With it, because all you know is how to, you've been trained.
Yep.
You have been trained to do one thing and one thing only. And that one thing does not include how to talk to people, how to bring you understand? So
Right.
you think what you do is so important, but you're missing a key point of it. And somebody had the nerve to say communication twice. I'm like, all right, then don't watch television ever again. Don't look at anything, because since we're not important. So I was like, well, I'm highly offended. So it's that type of thing where people think certain things are more important than others. And I submit to you that to make the world go round, we need it all. So how very dare you open your mouth and say what's more important than others? I'm sorry. I have a PhD in communication. You cannot do what I do. So don't, and I can't do what you do. So don't open your mouth to say that. And that's on Chuck. That's really sad.
Well, let me add to that real quick,
Please
because
do.
I talk about art as a whole, but for those of us who are photographers, surely you know that photography is on the bottom of the totem pole, because it's not like a Picasso or a Mona Lisa, right? Anybody can do it. That, again, is not true. Everybody can't do it. That's why you have professionals. Right? That's why we exist. I understand that there is, again, it's the access to really nice cameras and really great technology and a tool that you can tell it what to do. I understand that. It is bigger than that. It is much bigger than that. But again, I don't take pictures, right? Part of my job is not the picture, it's the experience. Now, what you get, it's nice. It is nice.
Right.
But it's not about the picture, because you can do that by yourself. You don't have to call me for that.
No, but they can't do that by themselves. Let's be real. And you all, please weigh in what you feel about. I'd love to know if you've been faced with this before. Weigh in. You say, and I understand where you're coming from, but no, just like you said, if they could, then they could take their own Fisher-Price camera and take the pictures themselves. But then they would be, and we've seen this over and over when somebody is trying to be frugal or cheap, and they're like, oh, well, Boo Boo and them can take the pictures, and then they're upset afterwards because Boo Boo and them don't have the vision you have.
Yes. So when I say two things, when people use just, it is their, I'm going to say unconscious, although it is very conscious, way of trying to play down the true value of what they're asking for. It's just $5.
Then
It's
you do
just a ride to the store. Okay, well, clearly, since you need it, it can't just be just. So that's one thing that they do. But the moment you decide to call somebody, as you mentioned, there's a reason why. It's because you don't have the skill to do it, or it's the creativity that you have noticed and acknowledge and would like to have. But there's a little part of you that doesn't fully value it, or better yet, you value it, but you just figure, well, it's just taking a picture, so surely it shouldn't be. No, that's not the case. But I do have people who call and people say, hey, I just need a headshot, or I just need a cap and gown. If I have to get out of my bed and get into my car for anything, it's costing me money. And they're like, it's how much? It's like, if it's just, then use your cell phone, which is actually really great. It's great.
Exactly.
With a family, with a friend, put on a little fancy modes and take your picture. But when you call a professional, any professional, the plumber, the AC person, your hairstylist, the nailers, whoever, don't do it can't be that much. Yes, it can, because you're asking for expertise and experience.
Exactly. Otherwise, you can do it yourself. And the thing is too, when it comes to the arts, I mean, I've seen over and over as a dancer choreographer, people are like, when you tell them how much it costs to, wow, well, we cannot negotiate. The arts is not negotiable. This is what the cost is. And this is interesting. Do you go and negotiate your surgeries with the surgeon? You do not. And you don't want the cheapest one, because you generally want somebody who charges enough because they understand their worth. But for some reason, you don't afford people in the arts and quote social sciences the same grace. But we've also done it to ourselves. How many times have you seen photographers, or also in my field in videography, where people will charge $2 and now everybody thinks aerial drone shots are supposed to be $2?
Right. My last photographer, he did this for $100, and didn't call your last photographer because I'm not him.
Exactly.
like, like we are not the same people. And keep in mind, if I may, photography is a luxury service. I don't care how much you pay for it.
Yeah.
It is discretionary income. Now I know, depending on how old you are, some of us used to get into the car, go to Sears or J.C. Penney,
Olin Mills.
Harlem, Olin Mills. Back in the day, glamour shots, and I get it.
Oh,
But those are, again, it's the experience. If you want to just take a picture with your 110 or your 35 mil, you could have.
Mm-hmm.
These are experiences, and those things cost money.
They cost money.
So
keep
that in mind. Like, you can do it yourself. You really could. It's always been that way. Professional photography by someone else is a luxury. Whether you're a student, someone is aspiring to be professional, whatever, it's a luxury.
It is. It is. Wow. So let's take some comments, or let me acknowledge some people on Instagram. Johnny Ray is here. Hey, Johnny Ray's World. How are you? Marsha Morrison, Nurse Tex, Fresland, and Glam Mom, sorry. And Miss Elise says, great response. Candy Sakai from Tokyo is here. Hello. How do we say hello in Japanese again? Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Yes. So konnichiwa. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And hey, Julie, how are you? Julie, one of my not really a classmate, but we were at Howard at the same time. So, hey, Julie, how are you? A bunch of people. Charlene, that's me, has also joined. And Cotton, how are you? It is good to see you. Pretty Red Lioness, how are you? And Love You Vibes, hello, hello. And one nice girl says, I had a 110 camera too, my first camera. I think we all had that, right? Those 110, the long 110 cameras.
They were
the flash bulbs.
Yes, I was like the flash bulb that kind of turn. You had to throw it out. They had to stick one. And I don't know about your part of the world. We had Fox Photo down here. Is a little freestanding film processing place where you could just drop off your photo and you go back a little bit and pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I miss those days.
I think everybody had that. We used to have something called Photomat. And it was like a little house.
You're right.
Right.
I'm
convinced they were all the same company. They just called them different things.
Probably called something different.
Yeah. And the thing is, you were like excited, waiting to get those photos back.
So if I can tell a quick story.
Absolutely. We love stories here.
2020 came and I thought, I'm going to relive, or I should say rediscover, my love for film. And I got my Rolleiflex because I couldn't find a Rolleiflex with a really good price. But I was like, I'm going to get into this. And we went out to the White Sands National Park with my niece, did her Sweet 16. I flew to New York and did some portraits there, all on film. And then they lost the roll. Now, I haven't felt that kind of pain in years, Dr. Tachi. I hadn't felt it because, with digital, you have it.
Correct.
The guy said, well, we don't know where the film is, but it could be in here. I was like, what you mean you don't know where the film is? Because there's only one. And once you lose it, you don't get to go back and take the photo again. That time is gone.
Exactly.
And I thought, I don't ever want to feel this pain, but I still do it. I take my rolls and I go out there. You don't click. You have to be committed to the moment because there's 12 frames on that 120 film. Those 12 frames cost. Whereas, I love digital, but even with the digital, just don't click. Like, you want to be intentional for what you are creating. Like, you want that right moment. So
absolutely,
the film brings back the creativity for Gwendolyn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So similar for me, when I learned to shoot film, I learned on 8, then I did 16, and then I did 35 millimeter motion picture film. So, trying to fiddle around in the bag to make sure, and you can't expose these things. So you have to be careful when you thread things on. And so I used to get, I was making films, when I was an undergrad, and I would be upset when people would start laughing. I'm like, do you think this is Hollywood? When you laugh, That's film that's gone, and I have to go buy more. And at the time, it was like $20 for 3 minutes of film. So, notwithstanding other things that would go wrong, I don't have time for you to laugh. So
wasting my film.
wasting my film. Exactly. And the thing is, you did not really have a good sense sometimes of what something looked like, even through the viewfinder. So you just had to pray that everything was exposed properly. And you would tell them in developing, like, I was good at guessing. I'm like, you know what? I think it's going to be a little dark. Push it one stop, please. Or I think it's bright. Will you pull it one stop? So you get good at that type of thing. But the thing I love about manual film mediums is that it teaches you to be conservative with what you're doing, to be planned with what you're doing. And so when I finally started using digital, because digital for me was new, I already had the good foundation of knowing what to do when I did not have a lot of resources. So yeah, I think that makes me a better videographer and a better cinematographer.
I agree. It made, people, I thought it was interesting too, because people are like, okay, how do you figure out like ISO and how do you figure out the aperture? And I was like, now look, I was raised with film. So I understand that 100 means I was outside. 200 means I got like a little bit of cloud, right? It's like, this is the same thing. It's just digital now. So they're like, I've never used film. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Oops. I forgot how old I was.
Oh, goodness. We do have a question, though, that's about this. Shelly Shells asks, what is a good camera for taking great pictures?
There isn't one. It's not the camera. It's the person. Okay, hear me out. And this is coming from a person who also likes to cook. I love my cookware. My cookware does not make my dish well seasoned. It doesn't. Okay, maybe cast iron, but it doesn't. It's not about the tool. It's the person. It's your eye. It's developing your creative voice. I had, like, when I started my business, I was using a very simple pro-consumer Rebel Canon to take my photos. Customers don't care, right? We don't care. Like, only the creatives care. So it's not about the gear. You have to learn how to use your tools. Go high, go low, go sideways, go under, but it's not the camera. Are there going to be people who tell you that certain cameras create certain looks? I would love a Leica. I'm not going to even lie to you. People want red bottom shoes. I want red boxes, y'all. I want red boxes. That camera, what it produces, that glass, oh my, fiending. I was fiending at this photo conference, but it's not the camera though.
It's the glass.
I have seen people, it's the glass. Now I've seen people I knew from school who would buy all the latest, greatest computer, photography, hardware, and software, like all the things, and couldn't take not one picture because it's not about the gear. You can buy all the gear and still be a sucky photographer or a sucky creative. Buy what you like, what speaks to you. A lot of places allow you to sort of test drive a camera, right? You can test drive it. You can figure out what color scheme you like, or should say color profile. And then you go from there. But sometimes it's the dollars that determine what you're going to start with. And then as you get into it, you just kind of go. If you're talking like for hobbies, get whatever your heart desires. Like I have a variety of cameras because they all do something different. When I go on my vacation, I take a point and shoot because I'm not carrying my work with me. I'm not working. I'm going to point and shoot and come on and be done and have my vacation photos. So every single tool has a purpose, but there's not one that takes great photos because it's not the gear, it's the person. The same way that a beautiful typewriter or computer does not create a novel. No.
Yeah,
it's the person.
Absolutely.
Love the question.
But yeah. Would you say, before I ask that, our good friend Food Plane has a question. And let me say hello to Geek of Chic over on Instagram, Karen the blogger, Classic C Gems. Hello, Herzog Tamira, and Terry Johnson online, the assistant queen of photography, is here. What is up? Two Diva for You is here. Hello, hello. And Candy Sakai, I forgot she is a photographer too, and she says konnichiwa, fellow photographer. She's amazing, and you know that Japan just has amazing things that you could take photos of. So she comes, and in fact, she was taking pictures, I believe, at Tokyo Fashion Week.
Ooh.
So yeah, I can't wait to see some of these things. Plush Life Media, hey Plushy, how are you? Good to see you. Zoila, hello Zoila, how are you? Wonderful. And Laney Lane. Classic C Gem says, within the eye of the beholder, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just really quickly add that I happen to be, like you said, there are different cameras for different things, but I think it also depends on, you look at the end game or what the end goal is. What are you looking to do? And I can't really speak for photography, but speaking for film, people ask me, well, what is it? What's the best camera? And there's always the best camera is the one that you already have. Just start, right? And then looking at what it's for. When I researched, and I knew that there would be times when I would need something that is in low light. So because of that, I discovered when I bought this camera that I'm using now, I discovered that the Lumix line was good in low light, as was the Sony Alpha line. And so the deciding feature was like the LED screen, and the fact that it flipped out. At the time, the Sony Alpha series did not. It was static. So I'm like, never mind that. So that was the determining feature. So look at all the different features that they have. Some things are gimmicky. Some things are actually very useful.
Yeah. And people have their grooves. Like I do it just to have fun, but I don't care. People are like, okay, are you Canon? Are you team Sony? Are you team Fuji? Are you team? I'm like, look, whatever I got is what I got. Sometimes you can take, well, sometimes our cell phones, our smartphones have really great processors inside.
Yes.
So it's like you said, whatever you have on you is what you have. But, as you get into it, like if you're thinking, I want to be professional or do X, Y, Z, then that will probably change how you approach it. But whatever tool you have is what you have until you outgrow it. Because a lot of people have all this really fancy technology, i.e. their cell phone, and use about maybe 5% of the features on it. Just saying.
Exactly. So we have about 13 minutes left to make our full hour. And I wanted to get some more questions in, and then I wanted to move on to our next topic or set piece, right? DS asked, do you have a favorite photo you have taken? And if so, why? What was it and why is it your favorite?
Oh man, do I have a favorite photo that I have taken? I got a couple, I have a couple right here in my in my space. They're all over because I like to print. I'm going to say probably no, because I love them all. I love them all equally. Is that awful? Is that an awful answer?
Is
that a cop-out answer?
Do you have one that you reach for if somebody shows you, like if you need to send an example of your work, or is there one that you reach for?
All right, let me back this up real quick because I'm going to be like 100% honest. Some of my favorite photos are of me. Now look,
come on.
I'm gonna sound kind of cocky right here, but it still look good. You know what I'm saying? So I do a lot of self-portraits. So when I look at my own photos, I'm like, gee, girl, you did that. So a lot of them are of me, not necessarily of my clients. I got this beautiful horse back here. He was.
Oh, that's nice.
I love the horse back there. So, there's a couple of those, but things that I print speak to me. So, but there's not just really one favorite. A lot of it, if I do print something or if I do really enjoy it, it's the emotion that was captured in that moment. Most of my photos that are in my home that are, if you will, my favorites, they're of my family. They're of my family. They're of me and my husband. There's a couple of me here, but most of them, like I'm looking at my niece, my nephew, my deceased rabbit. that's what I surround myself with. Those are my favorites in my phone. Like I don't carry clients in my phone. Love them dearly, but that's not where I thrive. I'm about myself and my family and then my community. But I know it sounds awful that I don't have a favorite. I mean, there's me. I mean, I'm cute.
Tell the truth. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to get into some more questions because I know that there are more questions. Let me check over here on Instagram. One nice girl is laughing at that. I'm like, listen, if you be for ye, who be against ye? You have to be for yourself, right?
Man, hey, you know what? My birthday's coming up. I reset the home studio to do a session after our time together, and then part 2 would take place tomorrow because I just can't do one outfit. So no,
Okay.
I'm in front of the camera. Look, we gonna appreciate all of this, all of it.
Yes.
So, yes.
Every single last
I
bit.
take photos of Gwendolyn, and then I get paid to do other stuff.
I hear you. Triple Braids is here. Hello. And one nice girl says that her best photos are of her as well. So she agrees. Classic C. Jones is like, okay. Levok is here. What's up, Levok? Good to see you. And Tone agrees and says, right. And oh, Levok says happy birthday. So yes, it's belated birthday at this point, right?
For me?
Yes.
No, it is the 17th.
Oh, okay. So it's early. It's early. So happy early birthday. Everybody wish her a happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Fantastic. Bernadette Nails, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So let me take a quick break. Stay where you are. And we are going to say hey to everybody who is joining. If you are just joining, welcome to the fold. Today we are doing a wonderful interview with Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack, photographer, show host. We have to talk about some of her shows and a new project that she has coming up. But you know what? Maybe I should introduce myself if anybody cares. I was such a wonderful guest. My name is Tachi, media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. Why not? You're already here. Just do it. And these are the platforms that we are on every week, including Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the rest of the Caribbean. And that's at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. We are here on Wednesdays, so you can see the video. And if you want to listen to the replay, head on over to Gospel 107.1 FM. All right, so there's a couple of things I wanted to tell you. Listen, you guys know I love podcasting. I adore podcasting. Maybe you want to get into podcasting as well, or you are a podcaster and you're looking for some like minds to commune with. Well, guess what? Get ready for the Afros and Audios Podcast Festival, not audios. It's Afros and Audio Podcast Festival. It is supposed to be an unforgettable podcast experience. And I actually had a meeting with the founder. He is absolutely amazing. And it's going to be in October. So next month, the 18th through the 20th. I'll have more information for you, but feel free to go to afrosandaudio.com to find out more information. And guess what? You don't even have to have an afro to go. It's for everybody. So if you are interested in going, definitely check them out. And I believe it is going to be in DC. I think so. So please go to the www.afrosandaudio.com and check it out. Also, if you are in South Florida, you definitely want to check them out. She is also, she's been on Indie Soup Media and she's going to be creating some more things. She is an amazing physical therapy person. She's also a therapist. So she does physical health screenings, disease and disability prevention, coaching, and community health education. And her company is called The Body Mechanics. So she deals from body to brain to foot to toes, all of that. So, and let me tell you, I told her one time my back was hurting. She gave me a stretch to do. You know, it went away. She's that good. So check her out. And then finally, I wanted to give a shout out to, and both, Ayana is the person from The Body Mechanic. She is a soror, and so is Ebony from TT's Crafty Creations. If you want amazing jewelry, especially if you are D9 made, she is the one for you. So I wanted to shout out all these wonderful people. And again, check out the Afros and Audio Podcasting Conference. It is great. And if you're wanting to get into that, start going to these podcasting conferences. I'm telling you, it changed my life. The first one I went to, which was Podfest, changed my life. Met so many good people. Check it out. All right. So now let's go to this wonderful woman here. This is Gwendolyn, G.R. Houston Jack. She's a photographer and a show host, and so gracious to share her time with us today. So let's do this. Let's talk a little bit. I do want to bring on a story, and we'll talk more about the shows and stuff that you have in a minute. We're trying to do this in a few minutes. Okay. How? I don't know, but we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and we will definitely ask them. All right. So let's go to, I didn't put them up yet. So I'll ask this question as I'm putting them in the system, you can go ahead and answer this. So Food Plane says, Hurley, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Food Plane, you're never asking too many questions. There's no such thing. He asks, what is the most important part of a great photo? Is it lighting?
Ooh. Ooh. You know, according to my professor, she was really focused on composition, and I appreciated that. But at the exact same time, I was like, people have different likes, and depending on who you speak to, that's going to make the difference. I love lighting. For me, lighting sets the mood for the photo. So when I work on my own images or someone else's, I literally sit down and sketch out what kind of lighting I want to have and what sort of mood I'm going to create from the lighting. Then after that, I think about composition, but it really does depend on the person. Like there's this one photo she loved that I took, but she's like, but his eyes are closed, and eyes are, it's how you see the soul. Yet and still, everybody in the room, including you, can still feel the essence with his eyes closed, right? So everybody has their something. I like lighting. I believe lighting is great there. And then from there, composition and, but depends on who you're speaking to, because you also have to define what is great. I have seen some images and I thought, okay, that's nice. But beauty, beholder. And in between is everybody's idea of something. So if you ask 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different answers. So art is subjective. I know there are rules. Yes, those are air quotes. I know there are rules about how a photo should be created, composed, and so forth. But once you understand them, you just break them. I'm just like, sometimes I will purposely do things that are fuzzy. I know that sounds ridiculous, right? But there's a story being told for what I'm doing, right? The same way that I don't want to see the person's eyes every time I take a photo. That's not part of the story that I'm telling. So you have to ask yourself, what are you going for? And does that image that you're creating give you that result? If it does, then you're great. I hope, hope is not a strategy, but I am praying that gave you a fairly solid answer, because it is subjective. I don't like red. It's like, okay, well, this is an all red image, so work with it, right?
Not too bad. Okay, so a few more things. We need to pay. First of all, today is September 11th.
Yes, it is.
And we did not acknowledge that. And I want to acknowledge September 11th, 2001. We know that was the day that the Twin Towers in Midtown Manhattan were hit. And you were there at the time. Am I not?
Yes.
Were you not? Yeah, you were there.
Commuter Day at FIT. Commuter Day at FIT, where we had, we I was part of a student ambassador because I'm that kid, and we were getting ready for all the students who commute in to the school, and somebody ran in and said, "Hey, I think an airplane just hit one of the towers." And I thought, it's so bright and it's like sunny, like how's that possible? And we have this bridge that connects the two buildings. So I ran out and I was like, that's different, because you can see the smoke, because we're 27th and 7th Avenue. And so I go into the student center, and my mother calls because mama's in Texas and I'm in New York City. And so we're on the phone, and then the second plane hits, and then we all said, this is not just like an accident. I remember when the tower fell, we lost phone connection, and I ran outside, because you're on 7th Avenue. You can look straight down and see it. And it was just dust. It was just gray and dust, and you couldn't see anything. And like the whole world was just, if you will, on fire. Yeah. It was one of those moments where there were people running. We were trying to figure out what was what. I had the highest phone bill, because I had a landline in my dorm room, and all my girlfriends came in to make phone calls to parents and loved ones. And it was the longest day. There were other bomb threats, and it was something that you don't forget if you're there. Like, I was talking with Ron Foster, who was even closer because he worked down there. And you go through this phase of remembering where you were and feelings you had, and then all of the, I'm going to say, the morning afterwards, there were signs upon signs of people looking for their loved ones in Grand Central Station, and at the churches, and in the subway. And you don't forget that kind of stuff. And I remember a few days, like maybe a week later, because we didn't have subway service below 34th Street. So we had to walk and everything. But we wanted to get out of the apartment. We just wanted to get out and walk around and maybe get on Brooklyn Bridge, but that was still shut down. And so the way they forced us to get back, it forced you to go past the towers. And I said, Gwendolyn, you're not going to look. This is like Sodom and Gomorrah. You're not going to look. You can smell it. This sort of chemical, burning flesh, something smell. Wow. I said, I'm not going to look. My friend Callie stopped and took a picture. And when I went to grab her arm, I could not help but look. I would have been a pillow of salt. I would have been gone. And you just see part of the building just sticking out. And there's, again, smoke and ash and all. I just busted out crying. Like, I cannot believe this is life. I only worked down there in the building for like a little bit. I did the U.S. Census back in 2000. I was an enumerator. And wow. I thought to myself, I can't believe this is happening here. And when I was at NYU, I had them in my window, right? So sunset, morning comes up, I could see the two towers, and I took plenty pictures of the towers when I was there. And I just thought, you don't forget that kind of stuff, right? Even though it's like years later, the closer you are to it, the more you still feel it. But like I was telling Ron earlier, I didn't go back down there until 2016. I couldn't even go down there. I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to. Yeah. Wow.
I'm sure that many of you have memories and you can remember where you were. Levox said, I remember that day I woke up to the radio telling me an airplane hit the Trade Center. I was on my way to work. And then they broke into the music for that. And one nice girl said, no, you don't forget, she's from New York as well. I was at 42nd and 6th Ave trying to reach my cousin who worked there. Also, and I was in DC wondering what the black smoke was because I was riding over the Pentagon at the time that happened. And I said, I better hurry up and get home or I won't be able to. And just as I got over that bridge, they closed everything. So I remember very vividly. And I was in grad school. So we didn't have class for like 2 weeks, I think. Yeah. So let's see. And then Fantastic Film Works, Tone says, I think that's the beauty of art and breaking boundaries, referring to what you were talking about before. Levox says, for me, when I see it, the image draws me in, regarding what you were speaking about before. And Bernadette Nails actually also went to FIT.
Hey,
Hey, yes. And she
love
says, what
that.
type of photography do you do? Portraits, product, etc. And you could, if you could recap a little bit for
Yeah,
me.
I'm a portrait photographer, so primarily families because I get the babies when they're like 6 months. I don't do newborns. Love them. I don't do newborns, but from 6 months, and then we end up doing pretty much like their senior photos
Mm.
and headshots and then individual portraits. So people like I love a good family portrait, but we are also individuals. So when I do a family portrait session, I will pull each person aside to do their own something. That's just them. So, yeah.
Wow, wonderful. All right, so talk about we're like coming up on time. We're at time, but I definitely want to get these last projects or these projects you have in. Talk about the shows that you have. You have several, and you've got three of them on Indie Soup Media. Tell us a little bit about each of the shows, please.
Well, the one that we created for Indie Soup Media is Ladies Listen Up. And it is about women like 40 to 65 who are going through an unlearning journey, not a phase. And these women have always been, in my opinion, the people who did we go against the grain. You know that there's that one auntie who always had something to say, who never fell in line. Everybody's like, that's why she's not married. And this is for her. There was always that one. So society's program doesn't fit everybody, especially for women, doesn't fit. In a certain generation, we got a little bit of stay at home, be the ever loving caregiver. And then we also got, hey, you can have your own stuff. You don't have to be married. You don't even have to want kids. You can do your own thing and be whole. So that show focuses on that unlearning journey because it is a journey to get a new habit, but it can be done. There are a number of us who are doing it, and so I love that show. The second one Small Biz Bites. I created that. Let's see, we're in the third season, so it's been a couple of years now, and that was just to promote other small business owners. I am not a person who is clearly not confident in herself, so I don't mind sharing the stage with other entrepreneurs, creatives, small business owners, educators. There is so much that brings us together that if we just stop to realize we're really not each other's competition, because we're not. The people who enjoy me and all of my foolishness, they're a special set of people, right? And then there are other people who want someone who's more muted and whatever else. And I hate to say muted, but okay, muted. Then that's them. But we can partner together. We can collab on some stuff, and everybody can get a piece of the pie. So that show was created to uplift and spotlight other small business owners, again, creatives across the board. The third show is Girl Listen. So I'm a soapbox person. Hello. And so I needed a place where I could just be on my soapbox and talk about whatever. Primarily, it does focus on women's rights, reproductive health care, the foolishness of society in terms of our holier than thou mindset where we get to cancel people for just being human. I do believe in grace and mercy. I do believe there is a limit for every single one of us, but it's like recognize who we are. We are human. We're fatally flawed. So get over it. But it's a great place to sort of talk about all of those things that we don't want to talk about. Like if you are going to get married, this is one of our topics this season. It was, happy marriages. Talk about all the things, including their bathroom habits, because it's a thing. You are sharing the space with somebody. Like you got to have these conversations. We talk about money, right? We talk about all the things that are taboo. That is what that podcast is for. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the last one, Dr. Tachi, because I got a lot. I really do. It's coaching. It's coaching. So I left my job as a career coach, manager, training, all the things. But people were still calling me to get information. And I thought, you know what, let me make sure that my time is used wisely. So this particular one is focused on small business people. because being an entrepreneur is a career choice. It is not just something you can do. You can, but you got to think about what's going on in the brain, as in competencies. Do you understand, decision quality, financial acumen, business acumen? Can you and should you be the person who is hiring your staff? And what does that look like? Do you have anything documented? Do you know about standard operating procedures? Do you have a defined customer journey, customer experience? People talk a lot about customer service. Oh, Lord bless me. There's a lot of talk about it, yet they have no idea what it is. They confuse customer service with accommodations. Me deciding to give you an extra 30 minutes when you've come late to your session, that's an accommodation. I don't owe you that. You pay for your time. You arrived late. That time is gone. If I choose to give you some free time, that's an accommodation on my side, But we kind of forget these things. And a lot of people go into opening a business, running a business with their consumer mindset and not a business mindset. They're not the same. I am not a business coach. I'm about growing someone's career. And at the end of the day, I know we have tons of titles. You make any title. It's not about the title, as I would tell my team. You want to have skills that will allow you to do whatever you want to do in the future, because the future changes. Every single day it changes. So don't get caught up on a title. You want to make sure you have skills and competencies that will help you do whatever it is your heart desires in the future. So I think that's all of them. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
Something else.
But you have more coming. So it's like, when does she sleep? But you have more coming, which we're excited about.
I forget.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So before we get to the last conversation piece, which is the new project you have coming, which is why I really was excited about you. Well, I was excited anyway, but I really wanted to talk to you about this. I do want to acknowledge that we talked about the fact that today is September 11th. May everyone rest well. And thank you to those who really put themselves out there to help rectify the situation. We have had 2 rest wells. We lost James Earl Jones. He was a master of acting and everything else. Every time I see him, one of my favorite movies is Coming to America, and I would say, "My son works." That's my favorite line from Coming to America.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite project or line from James Earl Jones?
I don't have. Okay, I love all of his work primarily because he stuttered.
Yeah.
And when I found out that he stuttered and I knew that I stuttered, I said, okay, G, the world is your oyster. Because if he can do it, he's done. This is CNN, right?
Yes.
He's done. He's Darth Vader. He's done all the things. And I thought, okay, this is also a possibility for me too, as a kid who was silent, right? So that's what speaks to my heart. I love all of his work, clearly.
Yeah.
But it was more of that we had that in common. And it was inspiring of what I could do with my voice.
Absolutely. So, of course, we today lost Frankie Beverly as well. And so when we talk about quintessential music that shaped an era and continues to shape, we talk about Frankie Beverly and Mays, amongst others, but definitely Frankie Beverly and Mays. He made white culture, white clothing culture a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Now white clothing culture a thing. That he has a following, a diehard following that always wears white whenever they go to one of his concerts. And when you hear "Before I Let Go" that the party is about to be over and the lights are coming
right.
on. So it shaped a generation of people even outside of that generation. So do you have a favorite Frankie Beverly and Mays song?
It would be "Before I Let Go." It's like it's been at every family reunion.
Yeah.
It was played at my wedding. Like, who doesn't love that one? I mean, he does have some other ones, right? Like, let's just say Mays. They have others, but that's the one that when you turn it on, you're like, and it's time to dance. Everybody get on the dance floor. Let's do it. I mean, it's that song.
I think mine is "We Are One."
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the beat for me, and then the rhythm of everything. I just absolutely love it. And feel free in the chat to drop your favorite James Earl Jones projects, or a line that he says, or a favorite Frankie Beverly and May's song.
Mhm.
Let's see. Yes, DiCarpio says great music. The Food Plane says a legend for sure. Going back, Kim says to 9/11 that she was on her way to work, but turned around and went back home to be with family.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's take a look over here. Yeah, we are one nice girl. Definitely, definitely. Lashandra Tinsley says, "Yep, absolutely." Fantastic record and film says a favorite movie of James Earl Jones is Claudine. I think that, yeah,
Oh, that's a good one.
that's a good one. That is a
Yes.
really good one. Yes, a classic C Gem says that voice. That voice is unmistakable. You won't mistake him for anyone
Mm-mm.
else.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely. Nat Funk, welcome in, welcome in. Mufasa for Lashandra Tinsley. Mufasa is her favorite that James Earl Jones did. And then Before I Let Go, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally, tell us a little bit about this project. I heard somebody had a magazine through the grapevine. And I'm like, no, you didn't just let it slip and slide on in and not say anything. So you're going to say in front of everybody here, tell us a little bit about this new magazine you've got going.
Okay, so magazines, photo magazines to talk to your customer or potential clients are not new. They are not new. They've been around for a very long time. Typically, people tend to do it to talk to singers or like weddings or moms to be, things of that nature. I knew I wanted to do one. I just wasn't sure when I wanted to pull the trigger. So I thought, okay, Gwendolyn, this is the year. Let's get it going. And we started getting the images together, getting the articles together, put it together. So, you know what? It is our 12th anniversary. It's the 1st of September. Let's drop it. So, the first one is focused on, because we're in our senior season, right? So, we're doing senior tips, how to create different stunning senior photos. They're just more creative and outlandish, if you will, not your typical. I hate to use the word, but I'm gonna say, okay, not your typical Classman jacket or a Letterman jacket and things of that nature. It's like, let's do something else. Let's go out the box. And then we also talked about investing in child photography as well as your own personal portrait. So that's the first. It's going to be 4 times a year. I look forward to inviting others to share their writing or their art in there, because it's not about me. I get, again, that it's going out to my clients, but there are people who are in other areas who are on my email list who are not in the Arlington, Texas area. They're not here. So who knows who may see this and say, this person is close to me? Great. Or I am willing to travel to this person. So I'm looking at bringing in some other people, perhaps sharing tips on using your smartphone to take better images of your child, or maybe it's travel photography, maybe it's a landscape photography, but it could be a variety of things. But 4 times a year, I'm already working on the winter. So, just a little something to work with my clients and help them do something different. And then for those who like the top tier clients, they actually get like a physical, since they get a physical copy. So yeah.
Interesting. Does the public have access to it, or is it really just
Yeah,
for your clients? Okay.
so since we're here with people who are creatives, it's Hazine. And what I really like about it is that it allows you to have the sounds of turning paper, right? And there are
Yeah, like
interactive
kind of like
pages.
issue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So as you turn it, it turns. It's an interactive issue. So there are a couple of pages that go to some YouTube videos. There are a couple of pages that go to information about picking the best photographer. There's pages that go to like Pinterest. So, if you want to do your own, because it is a marketing piece, it's a marketing piece. But if you want to do your own, then it would allow you to really talk to your audience in a different way. I like a blog. I really do. I don't know how much longer blogs are going to be. Oh my God, Gwendolyn, I'm trying to be careful with my words. Valid. Kind of like mainstream media. I get that it's there, but people are changing how they interact with us. I have a website. I am 5 steps from shutting it down because a lot of folks go to my Google business page and they stop there. Because there's a lot of info there. There's images there. You can see services. There's Q&A. Google Business Profile now uploads if you choose to.
Well, so not to interrupt you, but what is the best way to contact you? So, well, yeah, I'm asking because this is her on IG. She is at Black Power Bunny.
Yeah.
On IG.
Yeah.
But is there a better way to reach you?
Well, it depends what it's for, Dr. Tachi. You know, I got things going on. Now, since you're on Instagram, there is a Linktree link that has all the things because I dropped all the things there, right?
There we go.
There is a place like Linktree is my all-in-one, right? Like for all the stuff. You know,
okay.
Virgos, I'm gonna say it. I know it's not, grammatically correct. Virgos be doing some Virgo things. You know what I'm saying? So we got to put all the things together in one place. So Linktree helps with that. The same way that I have my own website that helps with that.
There you go. So go to her bio in her Instagram, which is at Black Power Bunny, and you can find the ways to contact her.
So that's there, but in terms of this project, I've already reached out to a few people to say, hey, would you like to submit some of your art and what have you? And I have it this first issue didn't have any advertisements, but it will have. Am I selling space? No. And I know that sounds awful. People are like, what? Okay, here's the deal. Not everything that we do needs a price tag. Okay. Sometimes it's just great to come together as a community and everybody just pitch in and we all just win. Sometimes that's just easy, right? I mean, that's just me. When things need to be paid for in trust, I'm going to get my coins. I don't think this one is one of those things. I don't think this is one. But we shall see. Who knows? But go ahead. Oh, you had a question?
No. I said we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, so when I say advertisements, then this is say, for example, and we'll use Ron Foster, right? Travel photographer. Perhaps for his article that he shares, he gets a page that links to his art. And ways to contact him. And then people are like, hey, I really like what he's doing, XYZ, great. I just feel as a community, I get that we're all photographers. We don't all have the same customer. We do not, right? I don't do food photography. I don't do commercial work. I'm not trying to do your wedding, okay? I'll do your engagement. I'm not doing your wedding. I'm not doing real estate. But why can't we pull together and all rise together and win together? There's more than enough pie out here. Everybody can be eaten. We could all be eaten, every single one of us. Right. That's my philosophy. That's how I live life. But it goes back to my purpose, right? Creating community, safe spaces, it's inclusion, authenticity. We don't have to do all of this. I got to pull you down to come up. Nah, bro. My blessing is my blessing, and you can't get it. So hey, right? Here
we go.
But I can help you get to yours. Why not?
Fantastic. And if you want her to help you get to your blessing, contact her once again. Let's put this up once again at Black Power Bunny on IG, which stands for Instagram. Go to her Linktree in her bio, and you're able to see different ways of contacting her and different ways of seeing her things. Now, we are way over, but I think it was so worth it. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang with the Mediascope Massive. And you are Mediascope Massive yourself, but thank you so very much. We're going to have you back, of course. This is actually her first time on Mediascope, so we will have you back. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you all of you for hanging in there and for watching and for asking great questions and for having a great time with us. And so I'm going to end the way we always end. I love you for watching. I bid you adieu. You guys, myself, Gwendolyn, and all of her wonderful photography and knowledge. We're all exiting stage left. Until next week, my friends. Cheers. Wait, I was going to end, and that's not. I was like, wait a minute. Where's the banner? Okay, for real this time. Until next week. Cheers.
Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire. Fed up with the same news, no channel to use. Cruise control mentalities. Here we offer you. We gon' show you.